Welcome back to Seat Time. Today we're going to be installing a new set of Mr. Wolf Mousse balls into a new set of tires on the Sherco. The set that we will be removing was installed October 2023, so it is September 2024 right now. Now I tried to do some light math. I was not documenting as well when I installed these last time. The balls that we are going to be pulling out have about 46 hours on them and about 773 miles. Because of that, that is documented by December, and I installed them in October. So again, if you want to bump that up hours wise by 5 to 10 hours and then probably 50 to 100 miles for I know some riding and some racing that happened in October and in November of 2023. So that's about how long these have lasted. Could I continue to shove balls in there? Absolutely that I could. As I'm riding more, where the balls are worn out to right now, I am more frequently having to open up the carcass about every 2 to 3 months, put another ball in. In the front specifically, I've actually had to put 2 balls in a couple different times. I find that I'm a little bit more sensitive to that front tire as it starts to wear out and flatten due to the compression of the Mousse balls. Now, why would you use Mousse balls over something else? Well, what you would use that over is a typical foam insert. So this is one of the Nitro Mousse. I've used Michelin as well. There are many other on the market now. So if you're looking to go a different route or try a different foam insert, a different Mousse insert, you would want to try the Mousse balls. Now the Mousse balls are more expensive, round about $189, where you're going to find things like this round about $149, so $150, $190 in that area. Now they do talk about you're going to get some more extra balls included. So again, as I was talking about, as you start to feel the balls, the foam start to shrink and start to wear down, you can add those in. So that comes with the kit when you buy those. You can buy separately as well after the fact for about $25. You're going to have to include shipping. You can get another little kit which comes with 3 fronts and 3 rear as you start to expand. I feel like I've gotten a lot of use out of them and that they've worn really well. I also feel like the way that they work with the Dunlop MX34F in the front and then the Michelin Starcross 6 medium soft in the rear, they work extremely well. I do notice when they start to wear out, but honestly, putting them in, I don't feel like there's any kind of break-in period. That might be because of the fact that they're separated, right? And so they can kind of move as long as you lube them properly. They're in the tire carcass, which might actually allow them to not have as much of a break-in period. I'm not a scientist nor a lubologist, so you're just gonna have to trust me on that one or try it on your own. And if you get to playing with lube and figure some things out, obviously, you know, slide into the DMs and let us know how weird it got. That is why you might wanna go with Mousse balls. Now, if you haven't seen them before in real life, I'm about to open my box and show you my balls. So each kit is going to come, this is the 1000 and the 2000. When you look online which one you're going to order, it's the number of balls that it comes with. It's going to come with a nice little kit as well, which is your lube and actually a QR code. So if you're going to figure out, if you need to figure out how to install these bad boys, I will go through that with you here in a second. But you get a nice big bag with the rear and you get a nice big bag with the front. You can see the difference in the sizes, which makes sense, rear and front. And also what you'll notice is there is a nice R and an arrow. And we'll talk about the arrow in a second. Easiest thing to remember, they all need to be pointing the same direction when you put the arrows in. I don't have a clue why that matters, but again, I'm not a scientist nor a lubologist, so we're gonna get into this. Let's do it. Before we lube these bad boys up, I actually want to take the old balls out of the tires and compare. I remember the last time I put some in, there were actually a couple cuts in some of the balls, right? A rock, a tire, a ball, a hard place, whack. That's what happens. So I just kind of want to compare, see if the sizes are about the same in that regard. And then we'll lube and we'll install. Now that I've foolishly gotten the front and rear tires off, we can look at the differences. So you can see that this guy on the right here is obviously a little bit bigger than what you're gonna see on the left, which is what came out of the tire. You're also gonna see a little bit more how it's misshapen. And it's not that it's misshapen per se, it's just that it's shaped itself to the tire carcass and to sitting there in the rim. At the same time, you're gonna notice too, some of the chunks that I was talking about. So that is what you can see there on this side, and then that there's actually a large chunk missing here on this one. Now, another one that I pulled out does have this. Now, this is just gonna happen. You're gonna see these in any kind of mousse that's like this. This has quite a few cracks. You can see that it's misshapen. That is fairly normal when it comes to these foam inserts. That's going to happen. As well, the squish factor, you can relatively feel that this is firmer than that this is. When it comes to how many of these you're supposed to put in, when you put the new ones in, if you want it really hard, like rally style desert, you wanna put all of them in. I'm gonna go for a good firm feel, which is one less than what it comes with, which I believe was 26 in the front and 22 in the rear. So I'll be 25 in the front, and then we will have 21 in the rear. Now those numbers are very close to what I took out, but the thing is that these things still smush down, and the tire as well compresses. So just because the numbers might be relatively the same doesn't mean you're going to get the same feel. So you're going to have to pay attention to your tire, how many you put in, and how they're going to wear. I do know as well, now that I remember, now that I try to break this down, I would replace these. So one of these that was really broken down, I would have replaced it with a brand new one instead of putting this one back in. So that's why I like over time, maybe I took one out and put two in as that comes down to it. So there were 25 in the front tire when I took it out and 21 in the rear tire when I took that out. When you get ready to install these, you're gonna need to take each ball that you're gonna put in. So in this case, -1 from what I have for the rear and the front, and you're gonna lube each up, and you wanna make sure you also lube up here so that when they rub against each other, again, there's nice and good movement in there. And then you wanna make sure that you have the logo on the same side. So there's a Mr. Wolf logo on one side, and there's an F for front and an R for rear, and an arrow pointing in the direction. You wanna make sure that all of those are lined up in that same direction. Now that we've got those lubed up, you still wanna get some extra lube and make sure you lube the inside of the tire. The more lube you use, the longer life you're gonna get out of any of these foam inserts. So be liberal, just slang that lube everywhere. You are gonna be getting this lube all over the outside of the tire if you're not careful. If you're more careful, you're not gonna be doing that. So just, that's something to think about. You might wanna use some brake cleaner after you get all done with this and you get all this on there. Just that. In the long run, if you're riding mainly on dirt, it's not gonna make a big deal, but say you go zip down your neighborhood and you're on concrete, you could slip. That's just something to think about, and nobody wants to do that. Here's a good look at the rear before and after. So you can see that it shrinks a little bit. It obviously takes the shape of the wheel, and it gets smushed together just a hair bit. Now, again, if you kind of anecdotally grab it, it does feel like it's a little bit more squishy, but again, I don't know how far that's gonna take you in the realm of science. I do wanna say that I think the rear had a lot more life left in it. It was just because of the fact that I'm replacing everything and I wanna be more diligent this time around documenting everything, that I thought it was right to do everything. I'm putting on 2 new tires, the Dunlop MX34 in the front and the Starcross 6 medium soft in the rear from Michelin. So a new set here to get this going, and then we'll document those as we swap things out, as I put new tires on, put these into new tires, and then how many hours and how many miles they get. I think that'll be cool to know. That's why I'm kind of doing all of this at once, even though I really think that it was just the front that I should have replaced. So let's get these in the rear tire and we'll do the thing. When it comes to maybe hard enduro or gummy tires, you just want to leave more out, right? That's what they say that you can do. So if you want a little bit softer feel and don't want it to be as hard, maybe for cross country, or as they say, when you put them all in for rally, you just leave some out. And that's the way that you're going to be able to get that. You know, that's why you see so many people drill holes in their tubes and stuff, or sorry, drill holes in a lot of their bibs anyways, because they want a little bit of more of a malleable foam insert. Well, now you can kind of create that if that's what you're looking for here with the Wolf balls. I'm going to take this off and put it on the ground, and I'm going to put pressure on it. And when I put pressure on it, it's going to open up the bead. But you can see even from here, like, I just can't get enough pressure to do that from here. So I'm going to do that on the ground right now. All right, we got the Mousse balls in the rear tire and we've got it in the front tire. Now we've got to get them back on the wheels. So this is going to be a fun comedy of errors. I am going to time lapse this, but if you've got any questions about what you see, ask away. We're going to wrap this up here in a second. As you can see, installing Mousse balls is no different than installing a Mousse. The first couple times you try to do it, you're probably going to screw up. There's a good chance you're going to bust or bloody some knuckles. You might even get a tire iron to the face. You can see, obviously I'm not going to the ISDE anytime soon with the speed that I did that, even though it was in time-lapse mode. But in the long run, I got the bad boys in there. You just got to go slow and figure out your process. Yes, the Rabiconda does make it easier. So if you guys have questions about the Mousse balls, please ask them. If you have questions about some of the ways that I installed the Mousse balls, ask questions. I'm here to help you guys. I'm going to try to do a better job documenting that kind of stuff. So as the year goes on Instagram, we'll talk about that kind of stuff between races, how much time is on these, and obviously more videos will come out as I go ahead and either add new balls, swap out balls, put on new tires and swap old balls into new tires, all of the things. This weekend we're getting ready to head to Zinc Ranch for one of the last National Enduros of the year. At least it'll be the last one for me. Had a ton of fun racing blackjack this year, and then of course hitting up quite a few NEPGs that have headed this way. So if you have any questions about Enduro, make sure you go check those out as well from the 2024 Race Cap video playlist. Man, if I don't get a chance to see you guys on the trail, at least I will see you here on the internet. Enjoy getting seat time. I'll see you for the next one, and peace. You can never use enough lube. So make sure if you don't use all of this, you keep it. So the next time you need to put a ball in, you can lube it up. And also, in case it gets dried out in there, you add more lube. If it gets dry, add more lube. That's your life lesson. Take that one to the grave.